I need to start with a warning that sounds offensive until you understand it. Some of the voices closest to you are not speaking from love, even when they sound gentle, reasonable, and protective. This is not about accusing people of being demons. That belief itself is wrong and dangerous. The shocking truth is far more unsettling. Scripture never tells us to fight people. It tells us to discern influence. And once you see this, you will never hear certain conversations the same way again. Here's a confession most believers avoid admitting. Not every attack against your faith feels like an attack. Some of the strongest resistance you will ever face will come wrapped in familiarity, concern, humor, and logic. The Bible makes this clear when it says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces operating behind behavior. That single verse overturns a comforting lie many of us hold. The lie that danger always looks obvious. It does not. Most of the time, it looks like advice. Demons rarely confront. They prefer access. They prefer relationship. They prefer a seat at the table of your thoughts. If they can't stop you openly, they will slow you subtly. They will not say, "Stop following God." They will say, "You're doing too much." They will not say, "Disobey." They will say, "Relax. God understands. Everyone sins." Those words feel harmless, even loving. But direction matters more than tone. God pulls you forward. Dark influence pulls you sideways. Not away, just distracted enough to delay obedience. This is where a belief must be shattered. Many people think spiritual warfare is loud, dramatic, and extreme. The truth is, it is often quiet, reasonable, and emotionally persuasive. Scripture warns that Satan disguises himself as an angel of light, which means not every voice that feels safe is sent to help you. Some voices exist only to keep you comfortable enough to stay stagnant. Pay attention to what happens when you decide to obey God seriously. Not talk about him, not post verses, not debate theology, but obey. Watch the reactions. Suddenly, the same people who were supportive become uncomfortable. They joke, they mock, they accuse you of being extreme. They say you've changed. They imply you're judging them. But what they're really reacting to is not your personality. It's a loss of influence. Obedience exposes what compromise hides. Light doesn't attack darkness. It reveals it, and exposure always triggers resistance. This resistance is rarely honest. It hides behind emotional language. "I'm just worried about you. I don't want you to lose yourself. You're becoming too rigid." But listen carefully. Concern that leads you away from obedience is not protection. It is interference. Demonic influence hates obedience because obedience removes access. When you set boundaries, some people lose control and spirits behind them lose leverage. Another unsettling truth is this. Spiritual influence leaves a residue. Environments carry it. Conversations spread it. Notice the atmosphere certain people bring into your life. After time with them, do you feel clarity or confusion, peace or agitation, courage or anxiety? God is not the author of confusion. Confusion is never neutral. It drains the summit. It weakens resolve. It creates overthinking where conviction once stood firm. Some people thrive on chaos without realizing it. Drama follows them. Fear-driven narratives dominate their conversations. Problems are exaggerated. Solutions are dismissed. Peace is always postponed to someday. This is not personality. It is influence. Whatever spirit someone carries, they spread. God's spirit brings clarity. Dark influence brings noise. And noise keeps you from hearing God clearly. There is another sign that often goes unnoticed because it sounds intelligent. Resistance to truth paired with love for opinions. These individuals will talk endlessly about feelings, perspectives, and interpretations, but grow irritated the moment Scripture enters a conversation with authority. They debate instead of reflect. They defend opinions instead of submitting to truth. When the Bible confronts behavior, they dismiss it as outdated, extreme, or subjective. But truth always demands change. Opinions demand nothing. Scripture warns that people will gather voices that tell them what they want to hear. This is not accidental. Demonic influence does not fear discussion. It fears alignment. Alignment with truth removes excuses. And without excuses, change becomes unavoidable. So when someone consistently avoids Scripture, twists truth to fit emotion, and resents correction, the issue is not disagreement. It is resistance. Perhaps the most dangerous influence is the one that weakens your confidence without tempting you directly. After spending time with certain people, you don't feel angry or rebellious. You feel uncertain. You begin doubting convictions God already confirmed. You feel guilty for obeying. Discernment starts to feel like judgment. Boundaries feel like pride. This is not humility. It is interference. A double-minded believer is unstable, and instability is easy to manipulate. Demonic influence often introduces confusion before it introduces sin. A confused believer is far easier to control than a convicted one. That is why some relationships leave you second-guessing your spiritual clarity. God never removes clarity. He increases it. When clarity consistently drains in the presence of someone, something is wrong. Here is the promise many people need to hear. Discernment is not paranoia. It is protection. Jesus loved everyone, but he did not give everyone access. You can care without opening your spirit to influence. You can love without surrendering clarity. Guarding your spirit is not cruelty. It is obedience. So ask yourself this question honestly, without fear or denial. Who has access to your thoughts, your emotions, and your obedience? And what direction do their words consistently pull you? Forward into holiness or sideways into comfort? This message is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone. It is meant to make you aware. Awareness restores authority. Authority restores peace. And peace restores obedience. But here is the unanswered question that should not let you rest easily tonight. If demons prefer relationship over confrontation, how many voices have you trusted simply because they were familiar, not because they were aligned with truth? Clarity is not optional. It is a form of obedience. And once your eyes open, closing them again becomes a choice.